Right, hello everybody and welcome to FRL's Super Sprint Sunday Mega Grid. We are here at round 6 in Indianapolis, and joining me for the action, normal service is resumed once again, me, myself and Retro Ghost. How are you doing, buddy?
I'm doing very well, thank you buddy. So it's just interesting track this evening. Don't see the admin's Bentley barges in the free practice at the minute. Maybe a good sign for some of these nippy little motors to get dicing through the track. So quite a difficult track, not many straights to overtake on. Obviously corners is where actions are going to speak louder than words.
Absolutely. So what we do have the two big straights from turn 15 down to turn 1 and the straight from turn 7 to turn 8. Both of them can be challenging to lead onto. Traction can be difficult to find around turn 15, and it's quite a tight entrance through turn 7 onto the back straight. The normal banking for the Indianapolis circuit that would normally lead into the final turn is cut just short in ACC. So you see that kink in the track map on the bottom right hand corner. So the drivers with the big Bentley barges and the Aston Martins aren't going to get the full use of the slingshot onto the main straight. They are going to have to navigate and look for traction as they go around there. So yeah, as ever, we are running 3 tiers. That is Pro, Silver, and Am. We've got a mixed free practice session at the moment. Obviously, a few drivers will be using different setups, adjusting fuel loads, doing long runs, qualifying runs, etc. So take everything you see for now with a bit of a pinch of salt. But I believe Retro has the standings post last round in front of him, so we're going to drop in with him to lead us through that.
So guys, as you see on the left hand of the screen, so you've got the drivers on the left hand side. Currently Bonham is top of the free practice at the minute with the white box next to his name. That signalises that he is in the pro tier. The white box is the pro tier, and obviously Bonham is currently leading the free practice. He's also leading the pro tier currently as it speaks with 104 points. And then you've got Adam Sharp in P2 just behind him with 93. Morgan Grace in P3, 92. We've had a couple of no-shows unfortunately from Mr. Paul Moller, the man who could have taken the fight to Bonham. I say he's missed a couple of races. He's down to 82 points, now taking him out the top 3. We've got Gordon Brown in P5 with 75 points. Josh Clayton in P6, 73 points. Martin Kravek, P7 with 71 points. Mr. Revel, Kyle Revel, down in P8 with 63 points. P9, Francesco Filomeno, P9 with 62 points. Andrew Eden in P10 with 58 points. And so a big couple of misses unfortunately for, I'm probably going to butcher this, Tadas Leica down in P11 with 28 points. That does say the Pro Tier Championship as it stands. So not many points separating a couple of drivers. Morgan Grace only 1 point behind Sharp. So obviously he's got a bit of work to do if he wants to take the fight to Sharp. But so he's just now going to go over to the silver tier whilst the page reloads. So guys, the drivers on the left hand side with the silver box or the slightly greyed box on the left hand side. S. Grafe up into P2, Molnix in P5, Haymans in P6 just to name a couple. But so the man leading the silver tier championship is Mr. Dan Naisbitt. He's definitely got a few legs before wickets getting that championship lead at the minute. So you got Samuel Grafe in P2, 99 points. Michael Mornix P3 with 97 points. Luke Richings P4, 85 points. Chris Gedman in P5, 72 points. Antonis Korkamalakis P6 with 69 points. Michael van der Wall, I hope you know marshals are involved when I say this, down to P7 with 65 points. Carlos Jackal P8, 63 points. P9 you got Alexander Kalugin P9 on 60 points. Javier Sierra in P10 with 35 points, and Uta Haymans in P11 with 30 points. So guys, that is the silver tier. So the silver boxes on the left hand side is where it's at for the silver tier. I'm just going to quickly go over the AM tier whilst this free practice does finish. Leading the AM tier at the moment is Mr. Reinhard Serfontaine, currently leading with 105 points. P2, Sofino Gibino in P2 with 100 points. P3 you've got Dazza Townsend with 91 points. Jamie Thacker P4, 84 points. Michael Coppins P5, 69 points. Paul Trotman 42 points for P6. Johnny Sharp in P7, couple of no-shows with 11 points. But guys, also as well, we are running the multi-championship. So obviously the guys that are in the lower tiers are not expected to move out the way of a higher tier driver. There is all bragging rights left on track for the overall championship. So there's all bragging rights there. I think if I can get it up just very quickly. No, it won't have it on this one, but I can find out at some point as well for the overall championship to see who's got the most bragging rights for Sprint Sunday.
Absolutely, thank you very much for that, Retro. So, as you've just finished that, perfectly timed. We're getting good at this. We see the Nissan leading out the drivers on it. It's just been beaten up by Ferrari. That's 215. That is Serpentine leading them on, as it looks like the clouds have covered, and we are due some rain in the later part of this session, so very key that all the drivers get out nice and early. as Retro drops us in the comments there. So obviously we only have 20 minutes of qualifying, but as all bragging rights, as Retro said, are left out there for all the drivers to grab off the table, we do qualify them all together. And I think it's going to be incredibly important that they all get out there as quick as possible to get this underway, because as the track cools, as the rain starts to spit, the conditions will get that much trickier to set the lap time. Even if you can navigate it, your lap time will begin to rise. So we've got Serpentine just going around turn 6 now. Took me a while to find. He did, absolutely, Mike. Well spotted. As the rain already is starting to come down, Retro.
It's interesting. No, is anyone going to brave it out? Track is still currently registering fast. Not that I'd ever know what that is.
No. So we have rain already. Now the question is how fast it comes down now. If they can use one set of dry tyres up and maybe get a competitive lap in, this may set them in good stead. I think the first lap here will be absolutely key for pole. Where's Bonham? Is Bonham out there?
Bonham is currently 4th in the line.
So there's a good chance that
he's leading.
And they're not giving each other much of a gap, are they?
Right, it comes down to conditions like this, but it's make or break. Qualifying is what sets race 1 and race 2 up, guys. So the 20-minute sprint first, and then the 40-minute sprint afterwards. The guys will reset to their qualifying positions from this, what they're going to have to grit and bear as it rains at the moment. Track is still greasy, so you can still get away with dry tyres, but they've got to make the absolute best of what they can in qualifying to help their points in their championship.
Yeah, so win it, spin it, or bin it in race 1. You have another chance at it to retain whatever lap time you set in this in your qualifying position and come out again for 40 minutes to try and show what you're worth. So the drivers all going quite the procession at the moment. Weaving through here, trying as much as they can to keep the tyres warm through this lap. But as they come onto straight, the tyres will begin to drop in temperature significantly. Not much in the way of fast speed corners here, so very little abrasion on the tyres. It looks like Grafe isn't doing too bad at holding this gap. Serfontainers, I think he just went a little deep in the last corner. But Grafe does seem to be leaving the car behind him behind. There's 444, I believe.
Interesting to see as well, because you've got Serfontaine in the AM tier leading this qualifying lap with 2 silver drivers behind him, and then the pro tier championship leader of Bonham just behind them as well.
So yeah, Serfontaine in an absolutely brilliant spot right now. You can put this lap together, keep it clean. This may well be the fastest lap of the session. Maybe not through outright skill. Well, there's skill driving in the rain, but you know what I mean. It's the luck of the draw of actually getting out there, using the track conditions to your advantage. But here it goes. Here's our first lap time. And it's going to be oh, he doesn't get it validated. So Serfontaine, first man out there, doesn't get validated, but Grafe did. Grafe with a 1 minute 40.8. Now stuck behind Serfontaine. Bonham down on that time. So Bonham not looking too great at the moment. Down on even Grafe. 134 coming around. That is Brown.
4 is G Brown.
Oh, that Bentley barge must not be nice around here in this weather. Unable to use the power. Where does he go? He goes P8. Another one coming round. Car number 70. That is Sargent. He jumps up to P10. 3.5 seconds off the pace. We're going to go back to Serfontaine, who's still leading this pack around. He's currently just going to turn 8. I do wonder. So Grafe has backed off. It looks like giving it, but that has pushed him back into. Who's that? Who's got behind him?
That is Richings behind him
Richings.
in the Ferrari. So the track is now registering as damp.
So this is the first representative lap we'll see with the dramatically changed track conditions. Serfontaine, who looked, albeit only slightly slower than Grafe the last lap round, you'd have expected him to be in about P2, P3 with the lap we thought he'd set, but through track limits, he's lost out on that one. But as he comes round, where do you expect him to put himself? P10. See, now that's the power of the track evolution, or devolution, as we should say. The track has devolved in such a way that the drivers are now struggling to get these times in.
So next car that is on a lap is car number 9, Dazza Townsend in the AM tier. Can he beat Serfontaine? He's currently P13.
No, I mean...
He jumps to P12, but he does
times,
jump Thacker though.
He does. Every single lap here is absolutely crucial.
G Brown now coming back to the start line. What can he do?
No improvement. I don't think from the ones we have seen set retro, I don't think we're going to see much in the way of improvement unless there are other drivers that have set times in the wet.
I mean, you never know. They could be a secret Max Verstappen, you know, 17 fastest laps in the rain.
I mean, you could definitely... I mean, the red flags might do drivers handy around here.
As we've just seen, speaking of...
Because Kokorakis does quite well, puts himself P14.
A WRC stint into the dirt gravel.
We've got car 97, who hasn't set a lap yet. That is Ainley. But when...
So a couple of new drivers as well. So I think I just heard you mention Ainley, not a driver that we've heard representing in the Sprint Sunday just yet. And we've also got De Moya down the bottom as well.
So a lot of drivers just sitting idle in the pits at the moment, which is confusing me looking around the timing screens. But I've picked up Felameno, who shares a car number with me, number 32. He's got a double slipstream as he comes down. As a diver dives through the escape road. But Felameno is going to carry on with this. He's got Ferrari ahead of him. He's just starting their lap.
So Bonham has actually set a lap now. He's up to P2. Just half a second nearly just off Grafe. And
that was Felameno putting himself P12. Competitive considering the conditions and the track devolution. Car 500 Clayton, who's usually mid-pack if not higher if the track is speed dependent. As we found out recently that Aston Martin is an absolute rocket ship.
Thacker just crossing the line.
But I've noticed, I think that's maybe where Serfontaine lost his lap, Retro, on turn 11, on the first part of the banking. There's a lot of times we gain from cutting the entrance to that corner.
I think as well, especially how much it's going to rain and how much this track's going to stay wet, that banking as well. If you're going side by side with someone, you're going to want to pick the dry line and not put your wellies on your big raincoat because you're going to go be splashing through some puddles.
So what can Clayton retain here in terms of speed? An invalid lap. I do think he invalidated where I said in turn 11.
You've got Eden now, just coming round the final bend.
So in the McLaren, looking for some some puddles and stays P17. Got car number 71. That is Van der Waal, who's clearly had quite an incident on his lap. Gone searching for some marshals in the stands. Give him a piece of his mind. And does improve all the way up to P13, so much more representative time for Van der Waal at this point.
Got Molnix as well, just behind him. Currently P4. Not quite enough. Car 999.
Sarah, who's just caught up behind. Let's call him like it. Was that Philomeno? My bad.
Yeah, it's a BMW.
So very, very congested around the track now, coming to turn 1. What's 334 crossing the line?
It's Kalugan in P11.
Does he improve? No.
215 and 33. I can see. J Sharp up to P16.
With the Lamborghini of Serpentine behind him. Still P9. Oh, he'll be ruining that first lap retro. Look at the times that haven't been touched since the start.
Well, I mean, fair play to Bonham though. I mean, he had a bit of argy-bargy on his first couple of laps. I think that's when the rain really started to set in, but he still managed to put himself respectfully P2.
Oh, as we just catch Van der Waal missing turn 13 by about half a car width. He seems to have regained his composure as he risks as much power through his rear axle as it always.
Oof.
The risk he took a bit of a tap. Oh, as the car behind him did as well. That was car number 70. That was Sargent, who decided to go.
No resemblance to Logan, right?
No resemblance at all. Maybe he has jumped in the car this weekend. He's from around there, isn't he?
Well, you never know. Sierra crosses the line, no improvement. Car 97 up to P16. Car number 9, P16. It's all getting a bit spicy towards the end. 134G Brown. Not quite enough.
So I've gone back on board with Grafe, who's just coming to the final sector now. Looks very well under control, this GTR. Nothing to suggest anything but maximum control of the GTR. Currently gapping. Go on.
I know, I was just going to say you about having a well-controlled GTR, and I just jumped onto Serpentine, who was in front of him, who was having a bit of a rear snap there as he was going onto the banking, but that was very well controlled from Serpentine there.
So Jabino, I didn't spot, has actually jumped Serpentine by a few positions there. 1.1 seconds is the gap to pole, and about 1.5 seconds to Serpentine.
Yeah.
That's very impressive amongst the amateur drivers.
Corkum Lakish is crossing the line, jumps to P20 from P21. Car number 7 is Thacker, now coming round in the Porsche.
29 seconds down. Now he's 7 seconds down. Does jump 1 position to P22. Back car 999. As he
Sierra P12 currently. He needs a good lap here to get into a fighting chance in the top 10.
No improvement, unfortunately. 37. Just coming around the banking now is Klugin. Car 334. Can he improve? No. The driver's really struggling for improvement at this point.
Got Eden now just crossing the line in P23. Does jump to P11. Good lap.
Oh, fantastic.
Serpentine just now behind him, but in P9.
Does improve, but only puts himself 1.2 behind Jabino. Needs to find something special there.
Oh, Clayton having a good smack at that wall. I think after a 20-minute race or even a 40-minute race, I think that wall's going to be deteriorated, and Gedman might have to do his admin job and inspect and repair that barrier.
Thank you, Mr. Bibby. I'm sure as we see Thacker missing the apex a little bit, definitely showing the trickiness that you mentioned. So thank you everyone that has tuned in so far.
Thacker just behind. I think cars 79 and 71 not giving each other any room as they are crossing the line.
Did I see a bit of a snap of the wall there?
You possibly might have done.
That's Van der Waal, isn't it? Who's behind him? Careful. He likes some fisticuffs. Gets his elbows out. Whether you're on the racing roster or not. I've got G Brown coming around again. Can the Bentley barge up? No, he cannot. Oh, as we catch Grafe in the background. Drifting around the final turn. He stays pole, but no improvement. Now, Clayton about to enter the final turn. A little bit of a drift as he's bounded over the curb. Comes around the final bend. Hopefully he's getting a bit more confident on the traction, but just notice he pulled away from the wall there to try and find the dry line in the middle, as we see a BMW in the background. Which BMW was that? Was that Sergeant? No, it wasn't Sergeant. It was class 33, I think. Just take a whack of the wall. The Sergeant, all the same, is coming round.
And so Revel does finally settle up from P25 to P17.
So we did speak to him beforehand. He said he really was struggling with the Ferrari.
He says that every week.
He does. But we're used to Revel being about 10 positions higher than this, so I think for a change it really is true. Not exaggerating. Sergeant stays P15. Mr. Bentley coming through. And a few drivers.
Ainley now coming down the start straight. Good lap from him, P18 to P14 there.
Bonham tries again. Can't seem to improve. 77.
So Grafe is now going to pin it round the final corner onto the banking for the start straight. Doesn't improve. Car 334.
It's Kalugin. Still right down there, number 32.
Filomeno. Oh, big snap there on the right hander just before the banking for the start straight.
That's not the wall we used to them trashing into, is it, Retro?
I don't think Brown that one.
No, Brown I don't think's covered that one. So Filomeno, if you've got any complaints about that particular wall, please send it to Mr. Brown's way. Oh look, he's parked right next to him. He's like, can have a word with him.
He's at the car, right, lads, quick, ding ding,
ding ding ding. Find Michael Buffer. Let's get this on. Let's get this show on the road.
Have a better fight than what happened last night.
Yeah. Oh my God, what a disaster that was.
Oh, we shouldn't talk about that. Spoilers and all that good stuff. We've got Jay Thacker now coming to the timing line. P20 does improve to P19.
We've got Bonham using absolutely every bit of airspace between himself and the wall, coming to the penultimate chicane. Bit of a snap on exit. Oh, this car's dancing a little bit, which shows just how much commitment he's putting on the throttle. Snapping with his foot flat to the floor. But can he carry the speed? Can he get any closer to Grafe? No, still no improvement. You can't knock him for trying. But as we mentioned, his competitor, who's currently leading the way, Grafe, chooses the wider exit. Still no improvement between those two. I think their early times are going to be pretty hard to beat. Got Kaludin and Eden coming through.
And next car to cross the timeline is Clayton. Just over 60 seconds left of this qualifying session. So it's going to be make or break these last 60 seconds, as that's where they're going to start for race 1 and race 2. Clayton bails out.
As Gordon Brown is cursing Naisbit for this. For this weather, I believe. Couldn't possibly imagine people getting weather settings wrong, could you, Retro?
No, who'd have thought that? Oh, good jump from Revel there up to P14. So he is making his way through the pack.
Well, I think the rain is just starting to ease off that little bit. I don't think it's going to be quite enough for the time to drop in these final bits. But what about Thacker? He's been one of the last people out on track. No improvement there.
Do have car 34 still trying to give it everything, and his championship rival Sharp is hot on his heels. Oh, Sharp's had a moment. He's reset to pits.
So Bonham going to give it one more go. Flies towards the line. Still no improvement. He gave it absolutely everything, but he's going to start this race minimum P2.
Gedman crosses the line. Unfortunately, no improvement for him. P26.
That's Eden coming off the line.
4 Eden.
No improvement again.
Right. Kalugan, I see.
No improvement again. Car 444 is Krokumlakis. As we do get an apology in the comments. So what can Krokumlakis do? He's currently 5 seconds down. Improves by 1.5 seconds, so well done to him.
Jay Sharp now. Up to P22. Good improvement. Mr. Revel on the final lap. What can he do? Not enough. Car number 7, Jamie Thacker in the Porsche. He's going to be our final driver to attempt an improvement. He's currently P21. 4 seconds and 2 tenths just behind the pole lap, but he does need a good second if he wants to try take a fight to some of the faster lads. Not quite there.
No improvement there for Thacker. So there you have it, your grid for race 1 and race 2. 20 minutes followed by 40 minutes, so don't go anywhere in between those two races. So Grafe is going to lead it away for the silver tier, but we're going to quickly just go through the pro tier as they sit. So Bonham sits P2 on the grid, but first in his tier. We've got to go all the way down to P6 to find Grace, second in his tier, and then Brown in P3 for the pro. Sharp P4, Eden P5, Clayton in P6, De Moya in P7, Revel P8, and then much further down Filomeno P9 and Kravek in P10 for the pro tier. Grafe, as I just mentioned, is leading the silver tier away as well as the rest of the grid. He sits in P1. The silver tier did very well. They populate 3 of the top 4 with Richings in P3, second in tier, Mornick's third in tier, Heyman's 4th in tier, 7th on the track. There's a big contingent of pro drivers there, which is going to skip over down to Klugen, who's in P15, Sierra P16, Ainley 17, 18 Sargent, 19 Van der Waal, Kokolakis in P20, with Gedman all the way down in P26, sharing the back row with Kravek. As we cover the AM tier, with Jabino finally putting cards in between himself and Serpentine as opposed to the other way around. So he sits in P5, P1 in class, with Serpentine down in P9, second in class. All the way down in P21 is where we find the other AM tier drivers. So P21 is Thacker, followed by Sharp in P22, Townsend in P24, and Coppens in P25. So it does look from the radar, at least, that there is going to be a dry-ish start to the race, but the track should be improving massively. I mean, the temperature difference looks like it's going to be up quite a bit as well. So the drivers will be needing, hopefully they've got wet and dry setups at hand so they can change what will on the grid when we do pop into that session. But it's all up for grabs, Retro. I mean, for the drivers that maybe succeeded in the qualifying, with the wet tyres or the wet setup, may not have an immediate advantage if the track is drying.
Well, it's all to play for, but as we say, qualifying. So a track like this, not many long enough straights for some of the Bentley barges or the BMW boats to get the power down to make the overtakes. They're going to need to be quick. They're going to need to be nimble, like some of these Ferraris and McLarens that you see, especially the Porsche and the traction zones. I mean, it's all well and good having the faster car or the faster driver, but it's how they implement that overtake to grant fair, clean racing is what we always strive to achieve in this league. And so the track is now dry for race 1.
Oh, so what a change up for the Bucks. Does that now hand the advantage back to the more common cars that are near the top, which would be the McLarens, the Ferraris? Maybe this now promotes some of the barges, as Retro was saying, the ones with all the power and all the weight can maybe push it down the pit straight, which is quite long, but one of only 2 on the track. Just while we're waiting for the time to count down, we're going to let you know, obviously, what FRL is all about. We are your home for online league racing, whether that be an ACC, iRacing, Formula 1, WRC. We've got you, Gedman. Or Brown, is it Brown who loves it?
It's G Brown, he loves a bit of Bentley barge, WRC, he does.
He loves it, he loves it. Formula 1, GT7, if it's got 4 wheels and races online, FRL is the place to be. Multiple nights, multiple classes, huge races like this. We have got you covered. So much commentary to pick up as well. Special league events, endurance racing, it's all there. If you're interested in joining us, Drew, drop a comment under the stream and an admin will reach out to you with a Discord link or direct you to the SimGrid page so you can join in and see what events are underneath the league. If you're already a part of the community in FRL, do make sure to like and subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't already. Share it with somebody you like, someone you hate. We love making sure everybody possible can see it. Just share it as intended. And if you are already heavily embedded, you've subscribed to all of those things, you maybe want to consider being an extra level member of the community, and that's by signing up to the Patreon. Packages start at just £3 a month. If you have a driver number you'd like to reserve and get it ahead of everybody else, you can do. You can get early access into seasons, into special events, and stuff like that. So yeah, packages start at just £3 a month, and that will help keep all the action that you love to see around here, keeps everything ticking, and yeah, it's a great thing to do. And as you move up, you can be maybe a bit more influence in the league as well. As Kyle has dropped in and says he's part of the mandatory stop gang, which isn't necessary for this Sunday race. There is no pit stops necessary, either for 20 minutes or the 40 minutes. Or I can assume that he is accidentally stuck on wet tyres, in which case he's going to have to pit pretty quickly. So yeah, let us know, Kyle, if that's what you've done, you donut. So Grafe is going to lead this back away. We are doing a short formation lap.
Oh, I mean, for all the drivers that are cheekily listening to the stream when they should be racing, there's been an announcement from G Brown to do not pit. So all you guys that are listening to the stream that should be racing, do not pit from G Brown.
Yeah. You do not need to pit. Obviously, if you decide to give a barrier a big sloppy kiss, then by all means, go and wipe that off in the pits. But I think Bonham, could have a bit of an advantage here. He's putting himself pretty wide, and he could definitely slingshot down this straight. So, eyes on Bonham. So we're going to get towards the line here, and we will be go, go, go.
Green light, green light.
And there we go. Off we go. How's Bonham done? Has he got that slingshot? We've got the Lamborghini in the background, who's just getting cleared off by the Porsche. It's a very long braking zone here. All cars should be up to top speed. How can Grafe defend this? But Bonham looks like he's going to swing it around the outside. Yep, there he goes. Grafe gets cut off.
Ooh, big crash into turn one there. You got Eden facing the wrong way, the BMW facing the wrong way, cars absolutely everywhere.
So as mentioned, it was a very, very fast first turn. Multiple, I see 4, maybe 5 cars all having to be recovered. I can still see him in the background kicking up dust. That's car number 9. That's Townsend, who looks like he's taken a fair bit of damage, or at least had to wait for several cars to let him back through. We go back on board with the lead here. Grafe has got his exercise shoes on, and he's not let Bonham escape. As they come through turn 8, sign through here, it's all about setting yourself up for the back straight. As you can get quite a lot of traction to come round this bend. But it does look like Bonham.
79, yellow flag, I think that's Gedman. He's reset to pits. Car 71, I believe that's Van der Wall as well. He's in the wall.
It is.
Does seem to be going.
So what can Grafe do here? Oh, as he takes quite a scenic route over the grass. And at this point we're going to bob down the grid to see what battles we can find. So I picked up Serpentine, who's right in the mix of things. But further back we've got Kokomalakis.
Down the straight, going really wide.
I thought he wanted to use the pit lane for an overtaking space.
Well, it'd probably be the safer bet, to be fair.
As he's got the BMW of Sargent round his outside, who gets squeezed on the curb and has to back out. But that has meant that Kokomalakis has now gone deep himself. He bounds over the curb. Sargent thinks, oh, there's a move around the outside I'd like to make. And he's going to have the inside for the next corner. Oh, but then he quite far off track to make that. But they're still side by side. This is great racing. A lot of interested parties just behind. Kokomalakis has squeezed himself back up the inside, but now they come onto the straight, and I fully suspect the BMW is going to have the beating of the Porsche here. Yeah, Sargent does just kick ahead. How about Sierra, who's coming up on the rear of Thacker?
Oh, Grace is on the grass. He's bleeding positions there. Car number 14 in the Porsche. Big moment there.
Oh, as we've just seen a Ferrari absolutely dive it over turn 13. Who was that?
You got a very interested Ferrari just behind Grace. Car 97 is Ainley, with Clayton hot on the heels of him.
With the Aston Martin just behind as well, not to be reckoned with. That is Clayton. Grace and Ainley seemingly using their car's width to block out Clayton just for now. Up towards the top though, Richings on Jabino. Jabino did a great job in qualifying using the track benefits. Now backing up the position and the fight for P4. Yeah, Jabino definitely look he's struggling.
I don't know how many people looked before they started and have kept the wets on. Be interesting to see.
So Jabino really having to defend for his life. He's got the biggest train on track at the moment behind him. But I did know Richings on a little bit wide and he's touched the grass. What will that do for his chances? Keeping G Brown behind. The Bentley barge is on its way. He's going to make a dive into the chicane. Brown does very well to get that heifer slowed down. G Brown, oh, with the switchback, cuts in, gets down the inside of Richings. This is where the power of the Bentley will shine. But he has stayed to the inside. Will that affect his traction? He's got the Ferrari of Sharp behind him. picking up slipstream. Move on Richings is done, but now Sharp is going to fancy moving the inside as well, but can Sharp just get Richings? Oh, as he bounds over the curb, but just keeps it out of Richings. But then Richings goes deep, goes over the grass again. But Heymans and Ainley fighting out behind as well. And I think Clayton has just overtaken M. Grace. Yes, he has. Grace regains some honour. That time back underneath half a second.
So you did just see Grace have a big lock up there, went straight into the gravel trap there. Luckily not to be met by a wall. So he does still seem to be going. His bleeding positions here from Grace.
Oh.
I've been disconnected, buddy. I will be back momentarily.
No, we both have. And
checking.
Doesn't bode well that the server has disappeared. Oh, the server reset apparently. So we're going to pause the stream just there and look out for your notifications. And we'll be back very shortly. See you in a moment. Right, hey everybody, welcome back. Thank you so much for your patience. The admins have been working hard to bring the action back to us. A few incorrect lobby settings were applied, so those have now been corrected. We are going to resume with the 5 minutes practice that you can see. Qualifying positions will be reinstated, and we will continue to get the full 20 minutes and 40 minute sprint racing that you were promised. Once again, obviously we're not stopping the stream, so if you haven't already, like and subscribe so you don't miss any of the action. For those of you that have continued to stick with us through the paused stream, thank you very much. You're not going to miss a beat, so you haven't got long left to wait for us to have another stab at lap 1, race 1 around Indianapolis. Yeah, but we're still here. Why would we go anywhere? It's FRL, right, Retro?
Exactly, buddy. The place to absolutely be.
Yeah, we're just watching the drivers put a few laps in, and then they're going to have a forced quali start, forced race positionings, and off they will go.
And so hopefully some of the drivers from race 1 that did get involved in incident in turn 1, obviously hopefully have a better race 1 this time round, so they can have another stab at it. And obviously race 2 they're going to reset to the same positions again, so they've kind of got to navigate once again a tricky turn 1. It does come up very fast, that 90-degree right hand turn.
Absolutely. And then immediately found with another 90-degree left hand turn, albeit a bit more arched, but all the same really tricky. 2 cars to go in that should be carrying as much speed as possible to launch them around the first sector, turns 3, 4 and 5. So we have elected to give you a bit of a better camera this time around. On reflection, we didn't quite see as much action as we wanted, so now we're going to give you the Helicam, provided by our patrons.
Do you know, that's all you guys pay for really. You get a few little perks, your race number, your special events, behind the scenes juicy details, and your own practice server. But realistically, it just fires up the helicopter fuel really.
Absolutely. Does it run cheap, this helicopter? So whenever we get chased off from the actual on-site comms box by Vanderwall, when he comes after us in the comms box here, we jump up.
It's quite a tough race. I mean, after the post-race interview, we got to leg it pretty quick. He comes up thick and fast. He does.
We jump out of the comms box and we go full on here. Get to the chopper.
Jump over those barriers that Gedman has nicely reinforced, obviously to take our commentator physiques, because you know we are men of temples. The temple being a Buddha temple, but you know we live and we breathe. FRL commentating. 30 seconds left of this free practice, so hopefully, fingers crossed, Vanderwall will get a better start this race and hopefully not come after us shortly after.
Absolutely. So Clayton, if this was a qualifying session, we sat pretty around about now, with a absolutely stonking 1 minute 37.3, putting himself pole in the pre-practice session, beating Sharp by 2 seconds as well. So yeah, he should be quite happy with himself. So we've said it once and we'll say it again. If you're not already part of FRL when you'd like to be, make sure to just drop a comment under the stream and an admin will reach out to you with a link to SimGrid, a link to Discord, and then we can let you know everything about what we do. We do iRacing, ACC, Assetto Corsa, Formula 1, WRC, anything that you can think about which is on 4 wheels, and you can do it in sim racing. FRL has got you covered. As Heymans is having connection issues, but can post a comment with internet, so read into that as you will. Those are the cars sit snugly in their boxes. As Heyman's game has crashed. You've still got 1 minute 40, I believe, to rejoin the session. I'm not sure what happens if... no, we have reset to the grid. So I think that is it for Heyman's, unfortunately.
Please tell me that's going to readjust.
I sure hope so. That is how they are currently sat on the grid.
I mean, the grid's backwards.
Oh, yeah. So the admins are now aware. So we're just going to wait to see what the admins want to do about this particular issue. I'm sure a few of the drivers would be up for a last to first challenge, but so we're going to pause the stream once again because a reset is incoming and we're not going to subject you to watching that happen live. So we'll see you once again in a few moments.